Amazing. And we're live. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Hilton here. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about joint dysfunction. But our bodies are really clever. They give us multiple signs that things aren't quite going well. So for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Hilton. I am a functional nutritionist and NLP master practitioner, and I help dads with their health set. And I help them to master their health set. For those of you that don't know what health set is, talking about health and mindset. So please, if you're watching right now, I'd love for you to say hi and pop a hashtag live in the comments below. And also, if you're watching on replay, please pop hashtag replay in the comments also. All right. So, like I said, our bodies are really, really clever, and they give us signs that things aren't working so correctly. So, if I may tell you a quick story, I've had a bit of a shoulder issue myself, and probably started a couple of months ago, and I found that I was just getting a little bit of joint pain in moving my shoulders here and there. I do go to CrossFit, so I do enjoy that, and that is one of my outlets, and I think that is where everything is kind of stemmed from. And I didn't do anything about it. I just kind of said, okay, it's a bit sore. I can put up with it. I can still keep going. It's really not bothering me. And then it started to get a bit worse. And it started to get a bit worse again until the end of today, when I said, nah, bugger it. I'm going to see an osteopath. So I did. And I've got to tell you, it was such a great experience. I've never been to an osteopath before. And, they helped me identify a few things that were wrong with my shoulder. And so then it's helped. They've given me some exercises and some things to do. But I want to remind you of 3 signs that your joints maybe aren't working as good as they could be. So the first thing I want to tell you is, remember that one of the most common signs of dysfunction is experiencing that persistent pain in one or more joints. It may be your wrist, it may be your elbow, it might be your shoulder, it could be your knees, it could be your hips. Any of those kind of joints like that, when we're experiencing that pain in one or more of those joints, it's likely that there is a little bit of dysfunction, I should say. Now, this discomfort can be different for a lot of people. So for some people, it can be a dull ache. For others, it can be a bit of a sharp pain. And for some other people, it might just be a feeling of stiffness and tightness. It's going to be different for anyone. But again, that's a sign that something isn't quite right. And what I do understand about persistent joint pain is that it can indicate underlying inflammation. For some of you, it might indicate some cartilage damage or just often joint wear and tear. And it's crucial to seek early intervention to make sure that it doesn't get any worse. The second sign your body can give you that you've got a little bit of joint dysfunction is when you can't move, when you've got that limited range of motion. And if you start to notice that you have got a reduction in your joint range of motion, or you've got problems, like I had problems doing this and sticking my arm out, I'm actually getting a bit of pain right now. Again, it was more muscular for me, but for some of you, it might be localized to your joints. And it can feel a bit stiff. It can feel a bit tight. Sometimes it can feel like you've got a locked shoulder or something like that. Again, when we've got that limited range of motion, what's really going on underneath all that is likely, again, similar things to the pain. So we're looking at joint inflammation, cartilage degeneration, and things like that. So again, early intervention is going to be a much better thing for you to do. So if you're starting to get this limited range of motion in your joints, if you're starting to get that persistent pain, you really want to try and address that so that you can maintain that functional capacity and move your joints, because we all know that they can tend to get a bit worse as we get older. The third sign of joint dysfunction in your body is a little bit of swelling and a little bit of warmth in the joint. So inflammation is underpinning a lot of that joint inflammation. Often it can manifest and our joints can swell or they can get a bit warm. And if you happen to notice that your joints are maybe a little bit swollen or they feel a little bit warm to touch, it's actually an indication that they've got more blood flow and fluid in that area. So swelling and warmth around that joint area is again associated with most inflammatory conditions, such as arthritis. And when we're looking at addressing arthritis, particularly from a nutritional perspective, we really want to be looking at what's driving that root cause of your arthritis, which of course is inflammation, and also helping you to manage your joint discomfort and also preserve your joint function. So before I go, I really wanted to give you some 3 nutritional considerations you might want to think about if you're the person that is suffering from joint pain, joint discomfort, and all those things that I have just talked about. So the first thing you might want to consider is, of course, omega-3 fatty acids. So you want to be eating more omega-3s in your diet, particularly because they are anti-inflammatory and they may help to reduce that joint pain and that swelling that's associated with that dysfunction that you're getting. So, food sources like salmon and mackerel and sardines, and you might even want to, if you're vegetarian or vegan, consider things like chia seeds and flax seeds and walnuts. They would be my kind of go-tos when we're talking about increasing omega-3s in your diet for joint health. The other thing to consider is antioxidant-rich foods. So these are foods, colourful foods. Colourful foods, think about colour on your plate. Think about berries and kale and spinach and all of those lovely foods like that. Additionally, some herbs and spices would go down really nicely. So spices like turmeric and ginger, they go really well in a curry. They also have like really good anti-inflammatory properties that will also help you further support your joint health. Third thing to consider is eating more collagen-rich foods, so collagen-rich proteins. So, most of you may have heard of bone broth, which is just a really long-stemmed stock, which is a really good source of a natural source of collagen. You can also find collagen in some of those fattier cuts of meat, so things like chicken drumsticks. And there's a little bit in fish. There's not a lot, to be perfectly honest. And also some of those fattier cuts of meat. You'll also find some collagen there in that kind of connective tissue. A lamb shank would have a nice bit of collagen in it as well. Of course, you can potentially also think about there's various supplements around at the moment that contain collagen. My advice to you is make sure you're getting enough of it, because most of those tablets that are floating around that say they're good for your skin and they're good for your joints and things like that, you do not have enough in there for it to have a therapeutic effect. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. But what I wanted to say to you all is I'm running a challenge very, very soon, and it's called the Health Set Mastery for Dads. It's a 5-day mindset and health challenge. And if you're a dad and if you're interested in coming along and hanging out for 5 days with me, pop the word challenge down below and I will get back to you. Anyway, that's it from me today. Thanks so much for watching, and please let me leave a comment if you found this valuable or if you want to join my challenge. See you all later.